You've probably seen the videos. Don't claim Social Security early. Wait until 70. Delay, delay, delay. That's fine advice, but here's what almost nobody talks about. Your earnings record could be wrong right now. And if it is, if even 1 or 2 years of your work history are missing or incorrect, Social Security will calculate your benefit using bad data. That means a smaller check every month for the rest of your life. We're not talking about a few dollars. We're talking potentially thousands of dollars per year gone permanently because of a clerical error nobody told you about. The good news? You can check your record for free in about 10 minutes. And if you find a mistake, there's a specific form to fix it. Stay with me. This might be the most important retirement video you watch this year. Let me paint a picture. Margaret is 64. She's been working since she was 22. Waitressing in her 20s, retail in her 30s, office administration for the last 25 years. She's planning to claim Social Security in about a year. Margaret never checked her earnings record. Why would she? She paid her taxes. She trusted the system. When she finally logs into her My Social Security account, we'll show you exactly how to do that. She discovers something alarming. 3 years of her waitressing income from the early 1980s? Not there. Zero. Her employer at the time paid her partly in cash and never properly reported her wages to the SSA. Those missing years quietly pulled her benefit calculation down. Margaret's story is not rare. The Social Security Administration itself has acknowledged that earnings record errors exist and that they're most common for workers who changed jobs frequently, worked in cash-heavy industries, or had name or Social Security number discrepancies over the years. If you've never checked your record, there's a real chance you're in the same position as Margaret, and you don't even know it yet. Here's why this matters so much financially. Social Security calculates your retirement benefit using your 35 highest earning years. If you worked 40 years, they take the best 35. That's the foundation of your benefit. But here's the part people don't realize. If a year of earnings is missing from your record, Social Security substitutes a 0 for that year. A literal 0. It's still averaged into your 35-year calculation. That drags your average down, which drags your benefit down. Let's put real numbers on this. Say you had 1 year where you earned $40,000, but it never got reported. That $40,000 gets replaced by a 0 in your calculation. Depending on your overall earnings history, one missing year could reduce your monthly benefit by $50 to $150 per month, sometimes more. Over 20 years of retirement, that's $12,000 to $36,000 in lost income. Gone. Not because you didn't earn it, but because nobody caught the mistake. And the older you get, the harder errors are to fix. Records get harder to locate, employers close, documentation disappears. This is not a minor paperwork issue. This is your retirement income. Let's break down exactly how the Social Security earnings record works and where errors creep in. What is your Social Security earnings record? Every year you work and pay Social Security taxes, the SSA is supposed to receive a report of your wages from your employer. That goes into your permanent earnings record, a running history of every dollar you've ever earned that was subject to Social Security tax. That record is stored under your Social Security number. When it's time to calculate your benefit, SSA pulls that record and identifies your 35 highest earning years. They adjust those earnings for inflation using something called the average wage index. Then they run those numbers through a formula to produce your primary insurance amount, your base monthly benefit. So your earnings record is not just history. It is the direct input to your benefit calculation. Garbage in, garbage out. Where do errors come from? There are several common causes. First, name mismatches. You got married and changed your last name, but some of your earlier W-2s were filed under your maiden name. If your employer didn't properly report the change, some years of earnings may be floating in SSA's system unattached to your current record. Second, Social Security number errors. A transposed digit on a W-2, say your SSN ends in 4521, but someone typed 4512, means that year's earnings get credited to someone else or no one. Third, employer non-reporting. Particularly common in cash-heavy industries, restaurants, domestic work, construction, seasonal jobs. Some employers, especially decades ago, didn't properly report wages to the IRS and SSA. Fourth, self-employment errors. If you were self-employed and forgot to file a Schedule SE for a particular year or underreported, those earnings may be missing or incorrect. Fifth, multiple jobs. If you worked 2 or 3 jobs simultaneously, especially with small employers, there's a higher chance one of them didn't report properly. Now, one thing to be aware of for 2026, the taxable wage base is $184,500. That's the maximum amount of earnings subject to Social Security tax this year. If you earn above that, anything over $184,500 is not reported to SSA. That's by design, but everything below that threshold should be on your record. How do you actually see your record? The SSA provides free access through their online portal, My Social Security. The address is ssa.gov/myaccount. If you haven't set up an account yet, you'll need to do that first. You'll need your Social Security number, an email address, and a way to verify your identity, usually through ID.me, which is a government-approved identity verification service. Once you're logged in, look for Earnings Record in your account dashboard. You'll see a year-by-year breakdown going all the way back to your first reported earnings. Go through it carefully. Not just the totals, look at individual years. If you know you were working in 1987, but the record shows 0, that's a red flag. If a year seems unusually low compared to what you actually earned, that's worth investigating too. Print it out or download it. This is your baseline. Now you can compare it against your actual work history. Here's exactly what to do to protect your Social Security benefit. 5 steps. Follow them in order. Step 1. Create or log into your My Social Security account. Go to ssa.gov/myaccount. This is free. It takes about 10 to 15 minutes if you're setting it up for the first time. If you run into trouble with ID.me verification, that's the identity tool SSA uses, you can also call SSA directly at 1-800-772-1213 and request a paper Social Security statement. It's slower, but it works. Step 2. Download and review your full earnings history. Once you're logged in, pull your complete earnings record. Go year by year. You're looking for 3 things: missing years, where you know you worked, years with much lower earnings than you actually made, and any years before a name change that might be unattached to your current record. Pull out your old tax returns if you have them. W-2s, 1040s, Schedule SE if you were self-employed. These are your evidence. If your records go back 20 or 30 years, even partial documentation helps. Step 3. File Form SSA 7008 if you find an error. This is the key form. Write it down. Form SSA 7008 is the Request for Correction of Earnings Record. You submit this form to dispute incorrect or missing earnings. You can get it at ssa.gov or pick one up at your local Social Security office. You'll need to describe the error and provide supporting documentation: old W-2s, pay stubs, tax returns, employer records, anything that proves what you actually earned in the disputed year. The SSA will investigate. They may contact your former employer. They may pull IRS records. This process can take weeks to months, but it is absolutely worth doing. Step 4. Contact former employers if needed. If you have missing earnings from a specific job, try to get documentation directly from that employer. Even if the company has changed ownership or been acquired, payroll records are often retained. For employers who no longer exist, check with your state's Department of Labor. Some states maintain wage records. The IRS may also have records of wages reported under your SSN. You can request tax transcripts at irs.gov/individuals/gettranscript. Step 5. Recheck your record periodically. This isn't a one-time task. Your earnings record updates throughout the year as employers submit wage reports. Make a habit of checking it once a year, ideally around your birthday or at the start of each new year. The SSA actually suggests this. The earlier you catch an error, the easier it is to fix. A mistake from last year is much simpler to correct than one from 1993. Let's be clear about what's at stake if you skip this. Social Security errors do not correct themselves. The system doesn't automatically flag them. Nobody at SSA is reviewing your individual record and saying, "Hey, something looks off here." That's on you. And here's what makes this especially painful. Most people don't discover the error until they're already claiming benefits. By then, fixing it retroactively is significantly harder. Documentation is harder to find, employers are harder to reach. The SSA's own records become less accessible the further back you go. Think about Margaret again. She caught her error at 64, with a full year to fix it before claiming. That's the best-case scenario. Some people find out at 68 after they've already been receiving a reduced benefit for 3 years. Some people never find out at all. The emotional side of this matters too. You spent decades working. You paid into the system with every paycheck. This is your money, money you earned. Discovering that some of it is simply missing from your record because of a paperwork error that was never your fault is genuinely frustrating. But frustration doesn't fix the record. Action does. If you've never checked your earnings history, do it this week. Not next month, this week. 3 things to take you with from this video. Number 1, Social Security calculates your retirement benefit using your 35 highest earning years. Any year with missing or incorrect wages gets substituted with a 0, dragging your benefit down permanently. Number 2, errors are more common than people think, especially for those who changed jobs often, worked in cash-heavy industries, were self-employed, or had a name change. The fix is Form SSA 7008, filed with supporting documentation. Number 3, the sooner you check, the easier it is to fix. Log into ssa.gov/myaccount this week, download your earnings record, and compare it to your actual work history. This is one of the most important things you can do before you claim Social Security. It's free, it takes less than 15 minutes, and it could be worth thousands of dollars. If this video helped you, please hit that subscribe button. We cover these kinds of Social Security and retirement mistakes every week, and most of them never make the headlines. Drop a comment below. Have you ever checked your earnings record? Let me know what you found, good or bad. Your experience might help someone else watching this video. And share this with a friend or family member who's within 10 years of retirement. They may never know to check. I'll see you in the next one. Take care of yourself.